Hi, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is Sam Dhaliwal. I'm presenting this webinar on Control Engineers Communicate Your Achievements. I'd just like to start off by having a little introduction on who we are. I guess I'm referring to engineers who are, of all different backgrounds, could be chemical, mechanical, electrical, electronic, civil engineers. And we are really people working in consulting services such as construction companies or engineering services companies and construction and design engineering procurement EPC companies, process engineers working in operating facilities such as refineries and chemical plants, and obviously control and optimization engineers. So collectively, a group of people who are really doing a lot of technical work. And really what I'd like to discuss today is how should we communicate our achievements, what opportunities exist, and why is it important for us to communicate our work to our colleagues and management. So really our impact is quite significant if we really think about it. As engineers, we can have a significant impact on efficiency gains, such as improved workflows, better design of processes, better solutions to existing problems. Quite often we are going into new jobs where there have been unsolved problems, and we take on those problems and we really are looking to improve on things. Safety is another big area that we can have an impact on. This could be alarms. How do we handle alarms on a particular plant? How do we share information so that we reduce incidents? We can look at new softwares that can help us improve reliability and safety of equipment, such as the asset performance management software. The other big area that we can have a significant impact on is environment, and this could be in the form of energy efficiency, emission reductions, could be catalyst design, reduced water usage, lots of different areas where we can really do some work and have a significant impact and really show that impact to be very tangible. Optimization is another significant area where we have, as engineers, worked traditionally. There's always this philosophy of continuous improvement on any kind of operating facility. It could be in the area of improved energy integration, better equipment, better plant design, and optimization from the point of view of improved production rates, improved quality. So really optimization covers a huge area of activity for engineers. Ultimately, a lot of these areas result in improved profitability. Clearly, this is very desirable from an organization point of view. This really can result from improved product qualities, less waste, process or a plant that is very agile in terms of changing production targets, and also perhaps improving or increasing production. So quite a significant amount of impact we have as engineers in whatever area we're working on. Now, we obviously know this. We have tools and data that we work with. There's design software in different areas that we work in. So it could be in construction and design, it could be in simulation for advanced process control. There's really software now available for all the different aspects of our work. We have a lot of trends that we can use to visualize the information that we have. We can plot multiple trends, look at histories of variables, and formulate decisions on how a particular plant is operating. We can look at databases and extract data from, let's say, a lab information management system, a DCS database, Oracle, Pi. These are all different types of databases. And really the purpose of a database is to capture the information so it stays in there for a long period of time. We can easily extract data and visualize, calculate, analyze. The front end of that analysis is really done through our favorite tool, which is Excel. A lot of engineers are very adept in using Excel. It's become has many features now, and it's much easier to analyze data, historize it, trend it, make lots of different graphs, and really allows us to understand data quite nicely in a very easy environment that's very transferable, easy to email to each other, and therefore a very flexible tool. And of course, as engineers, we ask questions, we gather information through interviews, talking to people, and really this remains quite an important aspect of how we collect information. So very important that we continue with that as a source of assembling data and information. Now, we have all this data. We now need some tools that we've got, and we want to convert that data into information. So we do this all the time. We look at simulation results, for example. We create different scenarios and analyze the results. We look at trends. We visualize the data, compare trends. We look for anomalies, events, and correlations. In terms of data preparation, we spend time to make sure that we have extracted the data correctly and it's correctly time-stamped and it is aligned with the different variables that we are looking to analyze. And also these days it's very easy to manipulate and share data through Excel, like I mentioned earlier on. We can also extract multiple data sets to compare and analyze and understand the problem that we're working on. So, really very nice tools available for us to do that. Statistical analysis, obviously, we can carry out statistical analysis on multiple data sets to really allow us to understand the different scenarios that we're looking at, so we can conclude which is the best solution to the problem that we're working on. Investigate. What do I mean by that? Speak to people to validate the data. Sometimes it could be that the data does not itself tell us the full story of the problem we are working on. We need to make sure we understand fully how the data applies to the problem, and then really challenge people if they have certain historical understanding of a particular scenario, challenge them with the data, and equally so challenge the data with people's knowledge and information. So we have the tools, we have the information, and now we need the audience. So we're working on a particular problem. We want to communicate our achievement. We really need to make sure we find the right audience. Obviously, there's colleagues that you worked with. there is non-technical staff within your organization, there's management, different departments perhaps. You're working in a design department, and there is a simulation or a process control department, and really you might want to communicate the work that you're doing to the different departments so that you can also learn from them, and perhaps they can learn from what work you have done and your achievement. Quite often you want to present the information to some decision makers because maybe you are doing some work which can really have a major impact on how the company is operating. Don't underestimate the potential for such impact. Sometimes some very simple ideas can result in some very major changes, and really you should have the confidence to present your work and finesse it to the audience that you are really looking to present to. So we have the tools, we have the information, we have the audience. Now we want to look at doing some preparation work. Really, I guess we have the technical preparation, which is to look at making as many graphs and trends as possible, make the presentation visual. Make sure we try and present some before and after scenarios so it's clear, again visually if possible, how the work you have done is impacting the company or the environment or the bottom line for your company, for example. And I guess it's important that you are adapting your content to your audience. If you're talking to some technical colleagues, you could perhaps present some additional technical information. However, if you are presenting to your commercial department or your managers, you might want to adapt your presentation so it contains more commercial impact type of information, which will make it more interesting for that audience. I guess it's always important to be brief and impactful. Try and summarize as much information as possible within a few slides so that you can capture as much of your knowledge in a very succinct and brief way. And also don't forget, it's important to understand the financial benefits of the work you're doing. And when you are preparing your presentation and when you go through the work you've done, you will learn yourself a lot from doing the analysis of the financial benefits of the work you have done. And by learning that, you will be able to prepare and present it much better. So there's benefits for yourself to understanding the financial impact of the work you're doing, and obviously there's benefits to your audience and your management and your peers and colleagues as well of the importance of the work you've done. So now we are ready to present. We've got the tools, we've got the information, the audience, we've thought about the preparation, and now comes the point where we are ready to present. We need to think about what forums are available within your organization. There could be regular team meetings. There could be regular management meetings where you could present. If there aren't any regular meetings and you have something to say in terms of whatever achievement you've got, create an opportunity for yourself. Maybe ask managers to have a lunchtime session or you could even have a little private session with your immediate management to show them your work so that they can perhaps assemble a meeting to present you, so where you can present your work. You need to generate awareness and really make sure you find a suitable forum to present your work. You can also look at newsletters that are within your organization, depending on the size of your organization. Try and present your work in newsletters. Maybe there's some internal channels that you can use, social media channels such as Yammer, and other channels that you might have available to you. So create awareness is important of your work. Externally, there are lots of different options available, such as papers and conferences. It is important in this context to be proactive, find these opportunities and gain confidence in the work that you're doing so that you can present your work at conferences and really gain confidence as well as gain a little bit of a reputation amongst the circles for the work that you're doing. So don't be afraid for, again, reaching out. In the end, you have to be proactive and make sure you create those opportunities for yourself. Now, I've got a few examples here. They are very familiar to, I guess, control engineers. But again, the point of these examples is really to emphasize the fact that even simple things that we do can really have quite a major impact, and therefore they should be communicated with the wider audience, with the wider community that in which you function. So I tune the PID loop. Fairly common thing to do. This example here is a temperature controller in a de-ethanizer column. A lot of control engineers do this on a regular basis, and you can see the before and after trends. Very clear that there is quite a significant benefit in tuning this loop. Now, if you delved a little bit deeper into the detail, this impact is not just on the de-ethanizer column itself. It really has, this temperature control really has an impact on quality of, let's say, the impurity that is being slipped, and therefore it has a direct impact on the financial sort of financially how we can benefit from this particular part of the plant. It could be that you're slipping propane with the ethane, which means you're losing money because really you wanted to capture all the propane molecules and not lose them from the de-ethanizer. So here, in this case, take this example, look at the benefits before and after in terms of how much impact there has been on operability of the plant or that particular part of the plant, as well as the financial gain as a result of reducing the loss of, let's say, a more valuable product with a less valuable product. My second example is advanced process control. This is one of my favorite examples because it really has a multifaceted benefit. This is hydrogen slippage into fuel gas before and after APC. Clearly, there is quite a significant impact here. And there's quite a multifaceted benefit here. First of all, you're not losing hydrogen, which means that you are actually not having to make that much extra hydrogen from your hydrogen plant. Secondly, hydrogen loss to fuel gas means that you're impacting the calorific value of the fuel gas, which will have an impact everywhere on your operating facility. There's obviously operational benefits of better control. You have fewer alarms. So really many different angles from which you can approach this particular example, capture the benefits, present them, and really you're looking at multiple stakeholders in terms of benefits here. You're looking at management to show them how much money is being saved as a result of this APC implementation. You're looking at operations people who would have gained because you have better operation of all the facilities that are using the fuel gas, and perhaps fewer alarms and all of the benefits that come with that. My third example is a database implementation. Let's say you had no database on the plant, and this could be an Oracle database or Pi or something similar, and you implement a database. How do you show the benefits of having that database now as part of your toolkit? Well, you can identify process events, you can identify incidents, alarms, you can look at statistics and reporting, so you can analyze the data from the database, and you can quite easily show the richness of information available to you now as opposed to before when you had no database available. And the fact that you can share this information in real time, you can generate reports, do some analysis, is really quite a significant benefit. Quite often, these types of projects are not really looked upon as significant benefits on an operating facility, but in reality, they really do have quite a big impact on visualization of information at different levels. Perhaps management is looking at different set of data from operators and process engineers, but the fact that you have this information available is of significant benefit, and that is something worth mentioning, discussing, talking about, and really is an achievement. My fourth example is alarm rationalization. A lot of plants are built with preset alarm limits, and once the plant is operating, you find those alarm limits are not set correctly, and you quite often have situations where you have a lot of alarms per hour. These are distracting, noisy, and really cause operator stress if they are not correctly managed. And I guess the important aspect is that critical alarms might get buried amongst these nuisance alarms that become prevalent because your organization hasn't gone through an alarm rationalization exercise. So go through this exercise. As an engineer, you will see what the situation was before the alarm rationalization took place and after. And you can quite easily report on metrics such as number of alarms per hour. Just speaking to operations people, they will tell you there's less noise, there's fewer nuisance alarms, and they can focus better on operating the plant much more effectively. So really, Another important example, you can present the metrics before and after to management operations and really emphasize the importance of this exercise. So you would perhaps in future, if you were to do this exercise, you would get more support from your organization to do more of this. My last example is base layer improvements. And my favorite phrase that I found when I have gone on an operating plant and challenged people on why something is set up a certain way, the answer is always the same. It was always like this. And for me and for many of the people listening to this presentation, perhaps that is not good enough. I think it's always important to challenge and to understand why certain PID configurations or base layer configurations exist. And if they don't work properly, then we need to deconstruct them and then reconstruct them into something which works much better. This is just to show you a cascade loop, but I'm sure you will come across several configurations which are not working properly on your particular facility, and you really want to be able to improve them. And once you have improved them, tap into your database of trends, data, do a before and after scenario, and you will clearly be able to see the improvements which you can then share with your colleagues and management. So to summarize, I would say engineers do impactful work. We do impactful work and we are very aware of it, but we don't necessarily communicate that with our peers and our colleagues and management. So I would encourage you to use tools to prepare and present your achievements. Make sure all the right people are in the audience, and if you help your organization learn, grow, and improve, you will raise your profile in the organization, and you will also gain confidence in doing more of this work, which will be helpful for everybody. So I would like to thank you for your time. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me on sam@kempute.co.uk. Have a nice day.